Okay, in transformer, so there are different types of uh, auxiliary equipments are there. So that one of the main important concept under core transformer core. Okay, this transformer core is a so there are different types of transformer cores are used. So magnetic material and non-magnetic material. Okay, so generally, so we are using magnetic type material. So that's why first we have to concentrating on what is magnetic material. Okay, so what are the different types of magnetic and non-magnetic materials? Okay, before going to the concept, so you already know this concept. You already studied. So okay, you are aware of that this topic. Okay, even though if you know, so try to concentrate here. Just within 1 to 2 minutes, I will complete this. So small topics. So this is only introduction to the our transformer concept. So here the magnetic material and non-magnetic material. You know well, the magnetic materials are materials having a magnetic domain. Okay, and are attracted to an external magnetic field. You know well. Okay, this concept is so know well, and you already studied in physics and intermediate law. Okay, so non-magnetic material that are not attracted to an external magnetic field. Okay, so this concept you know well, and there are different types of magnetic materials. Okay, paramagnetic materials and diamagnetic and ferromagnetic materials. Okay, so paramagnetic material, diamagnetic and ferromagnetic material. So you know the difference of the difference between these two, paramagnetic and diamagnetic and ferromagnetic materials. Okay, so properties, paramagnetic material and diamagnetic material and ferromagnetic material. So difference. Okay, so first state paramagnetic materials, they can be available in the form of solid, liquid and gas. Okay, in the well, and diamagnetic materials, solid, liquid or gas, same. Okay, but in ferromagnetic materials are available in the form of solid only. Okay, ferromagnetic materials are available in the form of solid, but these two aren't available in solid, liquid and gas. Okay, next effect of a magnet. So these paramagnetic materials are weakly attracted by a magnet. Okay, and diamagnetic materials are weakly repelled by a magnet. Okay, ferromagnetic materials are strongly attracted by a magnet. Okay, ferromagnetic materials are strongly attracted by magnet, but these are repelled by magnet. Okay, these are weakly attracted by a magnet. And behavior under non-uniform field tend to move from low to high field region. Okay, for paramagnetic materials, so move from low to high field region, and diamagnetic high to low region. Okay, then ferromagnetic materials are moved from low to high field region, low field region to high field region. They are moving like this. Beware under external field, they do not preserve the magnetic properties once the external field is removed. Okay, once external field is removed, they do not preserve the magnetic properties. These are the properties of paramagnetic material. Paramagnetic material, you know well this concept. For diamagnetic material, they do not preserve the diamagnetic properties once the external field is removed, same as this paramagnetic material. But in ferromagnetic material, they preserve the magnetic properties after external field is removed. Okay, this field is called a residual field. So residual magnetism. Okay, in ferromagnetic material, this property is called, even though if you are removed the external magnetic field, it will preserve the magnetic property of external field. That is property is called, this field is called residual field. Okay, residual magnetism. It's clear. So this is the behavior of the external behavior of under the external field. Under external field, so external field is removed under condition. They do not preserve any magnetic properties. This is also diamagnetic. But ferromagnetic material is different. So they preserve the magnetic properties after external field is removed. Okay, this is the one of the main important concept of ferromagnetic material. It's clear. Effect of temperature. With the rise of temperature, it becomes a diamagnetic. Okay. So this paramagnetic material, so if you are increasing the temperature of the paramagnetic material, so it will become a diamagnetic material. With the rise of temperature, it becomes a diamagnetic material. Okay. So that is the effect on the paramagnetic material. When temperature increases, so its property is lost its property, and it become a diamagnetic. Okay, actual property is lost, and then no effect on what is called this called diamagnetic material. When a temperature increases or decreases, there is no effect on material. Okay, effect of temperature, and then above Curie point, it becomes a paramagnetic material. So Curie point is nothing but just like a threshold point. Above the threshold point, it becomes a paramagnetic material, and it is converted into paramagnetic. Ferromagnetic material is converted into paramagnetic. Okay, if you are increasing the again temperature, so this paramagnetic material, that material will become diamagnetic material after certain case. Okay, so but up to certain range above the Curie point, it becomes a paramagnetic material. Then permeability, so little greater than unity, greater than 1. Permeability of this paramagnetic materials is greater than 1. Okay, so little less than unity. So permeability, that is called mu r, relative permeability, okay, is greater than 1 here. So little less than 1. Mu r is less than or less than 1. Okay, permeability of diamagnetic material is less than 1. So very less. The permeability of this material is somewhat better than diamagnetic material. But permeability in ferromagnetic material is very high. Permeability of the ferromagnetic material is very high. It's clear. Permeability of this, that is called relative permeability of this material, is very high. And then next property is susceptibility, little greater than unity and positive. Susceptibility. These are the different type of properties of magnetic material. Okay, little greater than that unity and positive. Here little less than unity and negative. Very high and positive. This is called susceptibility. So examples are lithium, titanium, tantalum, lithium, tantalum, magnesium. So these are the called different type of paramagnetic material. Okay. So diamagnetic is copper, silver, gold. Okay. So then ferromagnetic materials are iron, nickel, cobalt. So generally for transformer core is made by ferromagnetic material. So these are all different type of properties are belongs to our transformer. Okay. So transformer core is a solid and strongly attracted by magnetic, so they tend to move. So these are all properties are generally for transformer core. Okay. So generally, so silicon steel are used for transformer core. Generally, silicon steel. Okay. So iron, some cases, and then BH curve is also one of the important concept on the transformer. BH curve and magnetic hysteresis of magnetic material. So this is also one of the important concept. May ask for short answers. This question may be compulsory, I think. Okay, so BH curve of and magnetic hysteresis of magnetic material. So this is called a BH curve. This is called magnetic flux density. The H is called magnetic field intensity. B is called magnetic flux density. So the H is called magnetic field intensity. Okay, so the curve drawn between magnetic flux density versus magnetic field intensity, that is called BH curve. This curve is called BH curve. The curve plotted between flux density B, that is called magnetic flux density B, Weber per meter square, magnetic flux density Weber per meter square, and magnetizing force, that is called H of material, is called magnetizing or BH curve. So BH curve is nothing but the curve plotted between flux density B and magnetizing force H of a material is called magnetizing or BH curve. The shape of the curve is nonlinear. The shape of the curve is so non-linear like this. Some cases is different and some cases is different. Yeah. So there are some proportionality increases up to certain period, and then after that is a non-linear relation between these two. Even though if you are increasing the magnetic flux density, the magnetic flux intensity is not increases. Okay, if you are increasing the magnetic field intensity, the magnetic flux density, there is no changes in magnetic flux density. Okay, there is a non-linear relation between B and H. Okay, if you are increasing the H and B is not increases up to certain case. Okay, up to this is called up to saturated point. If you are increasing the magnetic field intensity on a magnetic material, the magnetic flux density is not increases. So it's constant. Okay, even though if you are increasing the magnetic flux intensity. So generally magnetic field intensity B is proportional to the voltage. Okay, the magnetic flux density. So magnetic flux density is generally is proportional to the voltage. Magnetic field intensity H is proportional to the current. Okay, so according to the transformer equation, so later we will get some relation. So E is equal to, so some relation is there. E is equal to 4.44 into, so pi into F into, so A. So okay, so pi into A is called magnetic flux density. So this is the relation. So we'll get our upcoming classes. E is proportional to magnetic flux density, that is called. Okay. So one relation is there. According to that, so E is proportional to, so B, and also H is magnetic field intensity. H is equal to Ni by L. So this is called magnetic field intensity, magnetic flux density. Here H is proportional to I, magnetic field intensity. So voltage is proportional to magnetic flux density. So it may be E versus I also. Okay, it's clear. So actually the transformer equation E is equal to 4.44 into pi into F into N. Okay. So this is the equation transformer under transformer. So E is equal to 4.44 into pi into F into N. So here pi is equal to, so B into A. Okay, that's why E is proportional to, so B, magnetic flux density, is proportional to the voltage. Okay. So there is the relation between this voltage and the magnetic flux density. So the shape of the curve is nonlinear. Okay. This indicates that relative permeability mu r is equal to B by mu naught into H. So relative permeability of a material is not constant, but it's varies. Okay. Shape of the curve is not linear. This indicates that relative permeability mu r. This indicates the relative permeability of the material. Okay. This is not constant, but it varies. Okay. BH curve is very useful to analyze the magnetic circuit. Based on magnetic circuit, we can explain the properties of the dielectric the magnetic material. Okay. If the value of the flux density and dimensions of the magnetic circuit is known, then BH curve total ampere turn can be easily known. Okay. So ampere turn can be easily measured by using the BH curve. BH curve is very useful to analyze the magnetic circuits. If the value of the flux density, that is called B, and dimensions of the magnetic circuits is known, then BH curve is total amperes can be easily found. So based on that, so dimensions and flux density, it can be easily to determined. Okay. So flux. The phenomena of lagging behind of induction flux density B behind the magnetizing force H in the magnetic material is called magnetic hysteresis. Okay. The phenomena of lagging behind of induction flux density B behind the magnetic flux magnetizing force H in magnetic material is called magnetic hysteresis. Nothing is this. You can easily understand the concept. Hysteresis loop is a 4-quadrant BH curve grabber from where the hysteresis loop, hysteresis loss, coercive force, and retentive of magnetic materials are obtained. From BH curve, the generally BH curve is a 4-quadrant curve. So you will get 4 quadrant, first quadrant, second, third, fourth curve. The 4-quadrant curve, okay, BH curve. So in this curve, we have to find the hysteresis loss and coercive force and retentivity of a magnetic materials are obtained by using this BH curve. It's clear. To understand the hysteresis loop, we suppose to take magnetic material to use as a core around which is insulated wire is wound like this. Okay. To understand the BH curve, to understand the hysteresis loop, okay, we suppose to take a magnetic material to use a core around which insulated wire is wound. Okay. So like this, okay. So magnetic flux and magnetic core surrounded by one coil is connected to DC supply. So the coil is connected to the supply DC through a variable resistor to vary the current. Okay. To vary the current, the coil is connected to DC supply to variable resistor because of to vary the current. So whenever the current changes, then only there is a flux changes in this core. Okay. Otherwise, it's not changing. It's constant and increases rapidly. We know that the current I is directly proportional to the value of magnetizing force H. Okay. When supply current I is equal to 0, so no existence of the flux density B and magnetizing force H, the corresponding point O in the graph above. During starting condition, at the time of starting, so B and H are 0 when current I is equal to 0. When current I is equal to 0 here, okay, in that case, magnetic flux density and magnetic field density are both are 0. That's why curve start from 0 onwards at the time of starting. Okay. So this is the BH curve. So that's why this is called as a 4 quadrant. First quadrant and second quadrant, third, fourth. The 4-quadrant curve. So that's why the BH curve is called as a 4th quadrant. This region is in between first and second and third and fourth. Thus, okay. So this is and then when current is increased from 0 value to a certain value, the magnetizing force and the flux density both are set up and increases to following path 0 to A. So like this. Increases to path 0 to A. Understood? When current is increases, I is increases from 0 to a certain value, the magnetizing force and flux density both are set up and increased following a path 0 to A. So lightly. So that's why they're like increasing, slowly increasing linear manner. Okay, B is increasing and also H is also increasing. Magnetic flux density and magnetic field intensity, that is called when current is increases, flux density and magnetic field intensity both are increasing. So this curve is like 0 to A. For a certain value of current, the flux density become Bm maximum. Certain value of current, flux density becomes maximum Bm. The point indicates that magnetic saturation or magnetic flux density of the core material. This point is called maximum value of flux. This is called saturation, magnetic saturation or maximum flux density of this core material. This is called maximum flux density. Even though if you are increasing the magnetic field density or current, there is no changes in magnetic flux density. This is maintained the constant. So like this. Understood? It's maintained the constant value. So even though if you are increasing the voltage, current. So like this, it maintains the constant. There is no changes in magnetic flux density. Even though if you are increasing the current, H is proportional to current now. Okay, that means even though if you are increasing the current and the voltage B is proportional to voltage, the voltage not increases. Okay, if you are increasing the magnetic field intensity, H, there is no change in magnetic flux density. So this color saturation point or magnetic flux density, maximum value of flux density. Okay, the certain value of current, the flux density becomes maximum. The point indicates the magnetic saturation or magnetic flux density of the core material. Okay, this is a peak value. It's clear. All elements of core material get aligned perfectly. So in this case, all elements of core material get aligned perfectly. Thus, domains are arranged in a systematic manner. Because of this, core material is subjected to the very high magnetic flux density. Understood? When the value of current is decreased from its value of magnetic flux saturation, when the magnetic field intensity is decreasing from its magnetic saturation point, okay, when the value of current is decreased from value of magnetic flux saturation, the H is decreased along with the decrement of B, not following the previous path, rather following curve A to B. Okay, when we are decreasing the after magnetic saturation point, so when you are decreasing the magnetic field intensity, so like this, when you are decreasing the current, the magnetic flux density is not follow the previous path. 0 to A is a previous path. It's not follow the previous path. So when decreasing magnetic field intensity like this, or current is decreases like this, the current, the magnetic flux density and it's does not allow the follow the previous path, this path. It takes another path that is called A to B like this. Let's take the another path that is called A to B. Understood? So when the value of current is decreased from its value of magnetic flux saturation, H is decreased along with the decrement of B, not following the previous path, rather following curve A to B. So that is the so important point. The point B indicates that H is equal to 0 and I is equal to 0. Understood? The point here, H is equal to 0. That means current is equal to 0. Magnetic field intensity is equal to 0. That means current is equal to 0. So with this certain value of B, this is called lagging of B behind H is called hysteresis. It's clear. So at this case, even though if your current is 0 or magnetic field intensity is 0 of magnetic material, but the magnetic flux density cannot be 0. Okay, that's why this curve is become non-linear. So that is called hysteresis. Okay, the point B indicates that H is equal to 0 for I is equal to 0 with a certain value of B. This lagging of B behind H is called hysteresis. Understood? The point B explained that after removing the magnetizing force H, the magnetizing property with a little value remains in the magnetic material and is known as a residual magnetism. So this is one of the important concept. Residual magnetism or residual flux density. Because of that residual flux density, residual magnetism, even though current is decreases 0, this magnetic flux density is not decreases to 0 value. That means even though if you are decreasing the current 0 on the transformer core, okay, the voltage cannot be decreases to 0. So because of magnetic flux density is proportional to V na, voltage E. So even though current is 0, the voltage in the core is not 0. Okay, that is the main concept of transformer core. Okay, in the direction of the current I is reversed. If the current I is reversed, the direction of H is also get reversed. Okay, if the direction of current I is reversed, then H is also reversed.